What if I told you that one single acre, just 1 acre of land, could pay you 10 different times a month? Not one crop, not one harvest, 10 income streams stacked on top of each other, all coming from the same small piece of ground. Most farmers plant one thing, wait one season, and pray. But the smartest farmers on the planet right now aren't doing that. They're building what's called an integrated farming model, a system where every input becomes an output, every waste product becomes a resource, and every square foot of land is working for them in more than one way at the same time. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how that works. 10 income streams, one small farm, and by the end of this video, you'll understand the blueprint well enough to start building your own version of it, even if you've only got a backyard, a half-acre, or a few unused acres sitting behind your house. Let's get into it. Here's the problem with traditional single-crop farming. You plant corn or wheat or soybeans, you wait months, and then your entire year's income depends on 3 things you don't control: weather, market prices, and pests. One bad frost, one price crash, one outbreak, and your whole year is gone. This is exactly why so many small farms fail, and why so many family farms have been swallowed up by big agribusiness over the last few decades. They were built on one income stream, and one income stream is fragile. Integrated farming flips that entire model on its head. Instead of one crop, you build a small ecosystem, a closed loop where livestock, crops, water, and even waste all support each other. When one stream is slow, another is thriving. When the market for one product dips, 9 others keep the cash flowing. This isn't some experimental idea either. Versions of this model have been used for centuries in places like Southeast Asia, the Philippines, and parts of Europe. What's changed is that now, with better tools, better data, and smarter marketing, small farmers can run this kind of operation profitably, even on a tiny footprint. So let's look at what those 10 income streams actually look like. Stream 1, vegetable and herb production. This is the foundation. Raised beds, row crops, or greenhouse tunnels growing high-turnover vegetables, things like leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, and herbs. The key isn't growing corn or wheat. It's growing crops that turn over fast, sell at a premium, and can be harvested multiple times per season. Farmers markets, restaurant supply, and community-supported agriculture boxes are the 3 main outlets here. Stream 2, fruit trees and orchard crops. Around the border of the property or interspersed between vegetable beds, fruit trees add a second layer of production without taking up extra ground space. Apples, citrus, figs, or berries, depending on your climate, bring in seasonal income and also provide shade and windbreaks that protect the crops underneath them. This is one of the core principles of integrated farming, stacking functions, not just stacking crops. Stream 3, poultry for eggs and meat. Chickens are the workhorse of almost every integrated farm. They eat pests, they eat crop scraps, they till the soil with their scratching, and their manure becomes fertilizer. And on top of all that labor, they lay eggs almost every single day. Egg sales can create weekly cash flow, which is something crops alone almost never do. Stream 4, small livestock, goats, rabbits, or sheep. Depending on your land size and local regulations, small livestock adds another layer. Goats can clear brush and produce milk. Rabbits reproduce quickly and require very little space, making them one of the most efficient meat sources per square foot on any small farm. Their manure, again, goes right back into the soil. Stream 5, fish and aquaculture, the aquaponics layer. This is where things get really interesting. A simple aquaponics system uses fish, often tilapia or catfish, in tanks, and the nutrient-rich water from those tanks is pumped to feed vegetable crops grown above or beside them. The plants filter the water, clean it, and send it back to the fish. You're now selling both fish and produce from a system that recycles its own water and fertilizer, almost automatically. Stream 6, beekeeping and honey production. Bees take up almost no ground space, but they do 2 enormous things for a small farm. First, they pollinate everything else growing on the property, boosting yields across every other stream. Second, honey, beeswax, and pollen are high-value products that can be sold directly, often at prices far higher than most vegetables per pound. Stream 7, composting and soil products. Every farm generates waste, crop scraps, manure, spoiled produce. Instead of throwing that away, integrated farms turn it into compost, which can either be used on-site to cut fertilizer costs or bagged and sold to local gardeners and landscapers. This turns what used to be a disposal cost into an actual product line. Stream 8, value-added products. Raw vegetables sell for a certain price, but turn those same tomatoes into sauce, that milk into cheese, those herbs into dried seasoning blends, and the price per unit jumps dramatically. Value-added products are how small farms compete with large-scale agriculture, because a jar of handmade jam or a bottle of infused honey simply cannot be mass-produced the same way. Stream 9, agritourism and on-farm experiences. This is the stream most farmers overlook. Today, people want to see where their food comes from. Farm tours, you-pick days, workshops on composting or beekeeping, farm stay lodging, or even hosting small events all bring in cash without requiring you to grow or raise a single additional item. You're monetizing the experience of the farm itself. Stream 10, seeds, seedlings, and education. Once your system's running well, you become a source of knowledge, selling seedlings to other home gardeners, saving and selling seeds from your best crops, or running paid workshops and online content about your farming methods creates a 10th stream that requires almost no additional physical resources, just the knowledge you've already built. Now here's the part that makes this model so powerful. These 10 streams aren't separate businesses running side by side, they're connected. Chicken manure feeds the compost pile. Compost feeds the vegetable beds. Vegetable scraps feed the rabbits and the fish. Fish water feeds the aquaponics greens. Bees pollinate the fruit trees and the vegetables. Extra produce becomes value-added product. And the whole system becomes the story you tell tourists and students who want to learn how it all works. Nothing on this farm is truly waste. Every output becomes someone else's input. That single principle, stacking functions and closing loops, is the real definition of integrated farming. It's not about doing 10 different things. It's about designing one system where those 10 things support each other. And financially, this is what creates real stability. If egg prices dip one month, money sales might be strong. If a crop underperforms because of weather, your value-added products and farm tours keep the cash flowing. You're no longer betting everything on one outcome. Now, you don't need to build all 10 streams on day one. In fact, you shouldn't. Most successful integrated farms start with just 2 or 3 streams, usually vegetables and poultry, and build outward from there over a few years as the system matures and as the farmer learns what actually works on his specific piece of land. Start small. Master your soil and your first few crops. Add livestock once you understand your land's rhythm. Layer in compost, then bees, then value-added products. Agritourism and education usually come last once you actually have a working system worth showing off. One small farm, 10 income streams. It sounds ambitious, but it's built one connection at a time, and it's exactly how small farmers around the world are competing with and often outperforming massive industrial operations. If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe for more deep dives into small-scale, sustainable farming systems, and drop a comment letting me know which of these 10 income streams you would start with first. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.